anybody's willing to just turn up on the night. 7:30 starts. Also,
That's not a public meeting.
it's not a public meeting, but the public are welcome to come along. So it's not a council meeting. It's not, it's a briefing session. So basically, Alison, the consultant's just going to just give some advice to the people who work on the working parties on how to get the best results as quickly as possible. The housing needs survey is still out there in the public domain at the moment. We're urging people to fill that in, all residents if possible. The deadline for the completion of that is the 14th of August. The paper version went out, a copy of the paper version went out to every household in Arlesey towards the end of a couple of weeks ago, but there is an online version as well. And again, you can find details of the links, etc., on the Arlesey Neighbourhood Plan website. And I think that's about it. I think the only other thing, just to pick up on, which Councillor Wenham spoke about last week, is that the neighbourhood plan has become ever more important because they lost the appeal against the development in Henlow, or in Ladford, sorry, a few weeks back. So that is extremely important. At the moment, if a developer comes up with a plan to build some houses, it's more than likely going to get approved rather than not. At the moment, there's nothing in the pipeline in Arlesey, as far as we're aware. And the other piece on planning applications is that we are expecting a planning application for the main road from the A507 to come in soon. I don't know whether soon means weeks, months, or what. I'm not quite sure. But certainly, it is being prepared at the moment, and that'll be the first stage of the Arlesey Cross development. Will be the application for that road.
Thank you, John. Item 11, Councillor McGregor can't be here tonight. He's circulated his report, playground report, with the agenda, and I've got from him some recommendations that he's making, and that's the task that we gave for him to go through this report and advise council what we should do. I'll read it out. If you've got the report in front of you, it does refer to pages on there. So page 1 identifies potholes causing trip hazard on the footpath leading to the play area. This was identified in a previous report, and Councillor McGregor suggests as a council we need to get a cost to rectify this problem, and if this is a CBC path, they should be notified and rectified. So, I assume Leslie.
Yeah.
You'll do that. Page 2 identifies the need for an ownership sign. As a council, we should purchase one or possibly two. They should be erected near the entrances to the play area. Play area signage should include name of operator of the site, contact details to report damage or incidents. Where the authority has a permanent office, this should include a telephone number. Location of the nearest public telephone for contacting emergency services. And a pictogram. No dogs signs are also strongly recommended. Everybody happy with that recommendation?
Are there two entrances to the playground here? Where's the other entrance?
Other side, one each side.
Is there?
Where is the nearest public telephone? Don't think.
The nearest one is over
Outside
there.
the source.
There's a phone in it.
Outside
It
the
is.
All right. Okay.
Are dog signs not already in the pipeline anyway?
Well, Councillor,
It says no dog sign in good order in the line above.
I thought we were getting new dog signs.
That was through various areas throughout all of Arlesey, yeah. There's a whole list.
I'm not sure on that. I'm just reading what he said. I don't know.
I mean, the fact it says good order suggests that it's okay.
Yeah.
to me.
It's just not got a
Pictogram.
pictogram on it, that's all. It's
So
just
I took that as there will be a picture of a
Dog.
dog doing whatever they do with a hazard line across it. Perhaps we can look at that. And it can
I think it just
get
shows
on
a dog actually.
And page 2 also identifies a bolt missing on the junior multiplay. We should instruct CPM to replace this or provide a bolt for the ATC ground staff to replace.
Sorry,
Taken as read, I guess.
which one is that?
Page 2.
Yeah, what
Junior
whereabouts?
multiplay unit under bolt missing from plumbing.
Then page 3, surfaces, identified no bark on the spring seesaw. Junior multiplay requires topping up and the swings require topping up. ATC should hold a supply of appropriate bark. Ground staff should be checking this every day they're at work and topping up and raking. Raking the bark will allow any unwanted or dangerous objects to be identified and removed. No brainer really, is it? Not? So we'll accept that.
Yeah, the only thing about the bark is it should be a lot deeper. So Andrew needs to have quite a depth of wood surround made before he then can have the bark. The amount of wood is probably £400 to £500 plus the bark on top, which is a lot of money. Whether it would be beneficial to look at different services instead.
Can I just say, can we look into a different surface? Because it says about the bark topping, but our maintenance lads only works so many days. So all the other days, which I think includes Friday, then follows on, I think, is it Thursday, Friday, Andrew doesn't work?
He doesn't normally, but as of September he is coming back to work full time.
Right.
But for the moment it's normally Monday,
just
Tuesday,
thinking
Wednesday or
it
Thursday.
means quite a few days where it's not being checked.
So shall we feed that back to Councillor McGregor to discuss with his play person alternative services?
Another alternative to building a higher frame all the way around it is to take out what's there and dig deeper.
Dig deeper, yeah.
And you don't have to raise anything around it.
Yeah,
It would save money.
Yeah. and you-
need to speak to these people, don't we?
Yeah, I think
What's best for
which Rob does. I think we should get Rob to go back on that point.
Because I mean the surface underneath the two new bits of equipment is great. It's really springy. Yeah.
Okay.
Spent much time playing there.
No.
We'll go back to what they call CPM playgrounds. Rob will got it. Page 4 identifies graffiti on the Preludic Teen Shelter. I visited the site of the weekend and both shelters have graffiti. Some of the graffiti is very offensive. Graffiti should be removed. The ATC ground staff should be checking this weekly and with correct equipment be removing the graffiti. I would recommend that a professional company carry out the initial removal of the graffiti and the clerk obtain quotes for the same.
Yeah, I know that particular graffiti, I don't know what they've used to paint it on with, but Andrew and Matt have tried and they can't remove it.
So I guess Councillor Grant.
Probably the best thing is to repaint it, but then that'll probably be a nice canvas for them to start going.
Yeah, but the professional company may know something else.
It's the railways use paint that doesn't have graffiti on it, it can't graffiti on it.
Really?
So buildings, yeah.
would not be a good idea to let the young people paint murals on it, and then they would be able to beautify it.
Why not?
They did do that with the kick wall one side. They had some professional artists in and they did this mural, and I don't think it's been vandalised too much.
I mean, if you involved the youth in it, in doing it, they might be a bit more reluctant to done it.
That's a good shout.
Yeah.
Yeah, I sort of agree, but I think we have to break it down into easy to do stages, which is get the graffiti cleaned off. We may need a professional company to do that, and then speak to them about how usual it is and how easy it is to encourage constructive decoration. They may say we'll never do that because it just encourages something else, or they may say yes, everybody does that, use this paint. But if we can get them in to do the cleaning, we've got past step one, and then we can have another step.
So we're agreeing with the proposal on
Yeah.
item 4, and perhaps Cathy would bring that proposal forward at some point. And then he's got a footnote: this is the second report that I've seen, and overall the play equipment and services are good. However, when a report identifies issues, as a council we should be acting on the recommendations of the report, which I believe is what we've just done with Rob's advice. Well done, Rob. Number 12, Councillor Lynn Scott. Proposal on Red Bears Children's Centre.
In retrospect, I'm not sure if we haven't already decided this, but
You weren't here last time.
no, but
We carried it over.
I thought we'd already made a decision on it ages ago. It's just I went to the last meeting of Red Bear, and I think it would be good if we had a representative to attend all the meetings.
And you
And I'm
volunteered.
happy to continue if that's agreeable with council.
Council happy with that? Okay, number 13, you remember this is the street light that's attached to a house and shines in a lady's bedroom, and has done for some years, I believe, and she wrote us an interesting letter about it. I'll read out her reply. Oh, this is to Louise Randall, who is not the daughter of Councillor Jim Randall. Hello Leslie, I thought I'd noticed a difference last night, but thought it must have been me. I can still see the light through the blinds, but it's no longer illuminating my bedroom, which is brilliant. Obviously, if the light could be moved, changed to a less brighter light, that would be amazing, but I'm very grateful for the difference the diffuser has made, so many, many thanks. To go further and move the light to, I think, to the other side of the road would require cost and neighbours getting involved. So I think, discuss this with Leslie this afternoon, someone to be saying it's brilliant and they're very grateful and using many, many thanks, I think we've made the resident happy.
I thought the problem in the first place was it was too brilliant. Now it's just brilliant.
Okay, Councillor Saul was going to come along with a more competitive quotation for the Wishing Well lights.
I do apologise, I haven't been able to do it yet. I've asked Leslie today, she'll send me details of the wattage, etc., because the supplier asked for further details. And I also stated that I've been trying to get hold of a local electrician who lives in Arlesey to see whether he wanted to donate his time to actually do it if the lights prove cheaper, and the council want to go ahead on that route. Might be that the other quotes are cheaper, but as soon as I've got the details, the firm said they'll get back to me pretty quick.
Will that be by August 4th?
By
Next meeting, August 4th? Or the 2nd August meeting?
the 2nd August meeting, just in case I can't get hold of the electrician. But as it's light at night, nobody notices at the moment. The lights aren't actually
So that'll be on
done
the,
yet.
that'll be on the agenda for the 18th
Yeah,
of August.
lovely.
Number 15, Councillor Ward, Health and Safety Audit.
So,
Update.
yeah, so at the last meeting we agreed to proceed with one of the quotes we had, Mark France, to come and conduct the health and safety audit. Fortunately he was able to come just 2 days later actually, and to undertake that in conjunction with Leslie and the rest of the staff. Unfortunately he's had an accident himself since.
You're a proper risk assessor.
It wasn't here, no. But he's suffering with his sight, so he apologises for the delay in submitting the full report. But he's given me some comments, which I can quickly just feed back to you. Quite encouraging, but some areas of concern as well. His first reassurance was that accident potential is fortunately reasonably low due to very positive behaviours and attitudes observed by the staff. So that was encouraging. There are a number of actions though that have arisen from his observations, particularly in regard to documentation, risk assessments, accident reporting, provision, training, fire, risk assessment, and procedures for fire evacuation, test alarms and that kind of thing. It's a little bit ambiguous as to whether it's our responsibility or central beds, and that's one of the main areas which he says needs to be investigated further. He indicated a number of statutory inspections and certificates are managed by CBC, but ultimately if we have employees here, then we need to take responsibility for ensuring they're in place. And some more specific risk assessments: manual handling, driving at work, litter picking, use of ladders, use of equipment for hand, whether it incurs hand vibration, need to be investigated a little bit further. But as I say, positively, as a whole, each of the team were very positive and demonstrated a lot of common sense, which is encouraging as an employer. That's what you want to see. He's given an indicative score as well, which he says is as you would expect for any company who's not had a lot of experience or exposure to training or a previous audit. And he says there are a number of key actions which you can implement pretty quickly to get you up to a reasonably satisfactory score. He's promised to report early next week, and I'll feed that back and circulate around as soon as it arrives.
Thanks, Councillor Wood. Progress. Quality Council next. Oh, right, yeah. Have you got that email? I didn't print it out. It's one line of Rob's. I sent you. I can probably even remember it. Okay, then on 16, Councillor McGregor's not here. His only update is there's not a report available yet. He said that there has been progress made by the working party and that they would be putting together a report in the near future. I don't know who's in the working party with him who can endorse that, what I've just said. Who's on the working party? Councillor Holloway, McGregor, and Livermore expert. Anyway, it wasn't. It appears he wasn't expecting it to be on the agenda anyway, but it is progressing, and there will be a report coming to, or proposal coming to council when they've completed their
Would
work.
that be by the next meeting? Because I think it's getting quite urgent. Could he be asked to?
I don't
could there
think
be
he
asked?
said in the email, but I can go back to
Could
him
you
and
ask?
say.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it needs sorting.
Sure.
Timeline,
Yeah.
because it's not going to be
Yeah, if
one
it's
stop
not
shop.
going to be next meeting, then we have some sort of timeline because
Mr. Chairman, just so that doesn't drift, just reading back the minutes, Councillors Alban, McGregor and Saul were on the working party.
We haven't met.
I was going to say, I didn't know I was on that one.
And Stanbury, in fact, according to the
Was it while I was away?
document, the working party is one that Leslie sent round. Sorry, I'm looking at the wrong one. No, sorry. Committees wasn't on that one.
It was agreed at last meeting, I think. I think you were right, Jason.
Yeah, minute 138.
I've not had any emails about it.
No. No, fine.
And Councillor Holloway, was it? Well, whenever we need to feedback to Councillor McGregor that we want some urgency put behind it. council ask for a report, an update on the poor performance.
And if they'd like to contact the others that didn't know they were on the
I'm sure Councillor Holloway's
So, just make sure. Yeah, there's councillors Auburn, McGregor and Saar.
not Holloway. I'll copy you two on the email.
Thank you.
So the next Quality Council status, which no longer exists, it's now called the Local Council Award Scheme. And there are three levels. They're called Foundation, Quality and Quality Gold. And Leslie's looked into this and she started going through a tick sheet of where we comply already with governance, community and development. And Leslie's also identified that there is a showstopper to getting even foundation, and that is you mustn't have had a comment in the where is it?
Qualified, that's the external audit, qualified opinion is not given.
Yeah. So potentially the debacle over holiday pay could well be mentioned in that box on this year's audit, which means we wouldn't be eligible for anything. There are costs involved in getting this. There's £50 to start off and then a further £50 to £65,
Something like that.
depending on your...
site,
There's over £100. What I discussed with Leslie this afternoon, and I'd like to propose how we take this forward, is that for this year, because we've got an opportunity to spend the money and get a thing in the box without getting foundation, that we monitor where we are, which shows us where we would fall down on governance or community. We can put our own corrected action plan in place to address those issues, and then next year, when we will have a clear audit, go forward for it if we wish to.
And the advantages of being
Yeah,
recognised, because the quality status, you used to have greater discretion over your funding and what activities you could get involved with. I can't remember exactly the wording, but currently, or previously, a normal council could only do what it was allowed to do. But then if you were a quality status, you could do anything that was not restricted by law. It was a slight difference. So I don't know quite how this award scheme affects that. I mean, that was my reasoning behind including it within the strategy statement.
The quality one meets the eligibility criteria for the general power of competence. So,
Okay, so it's similar kind of.
yeah, I don't know what the foundation, it's on the front of the foundation one. There.
To achieve this foundation award, the council demonstrates there's the minimum documentation and information in place for operating lawfully and according to standard practice. The council also has policies for training councillors, officers as a building foundation for improvement and development. Doesn't say you get anything for that.
Are the costs one-off costs or ongoing, or
Well, then if you want to go for quality gold status, then there's another.
But are you then assessed each year?
I think it's assessed over 4. Well, you have the status for 4 years.
Right, okay.
There's quite a few councils have got it. Anthill, Bowness, Brickhilbron, Dunstable, Henlow, Houghton Regis, Stockfold's got it, Sandy.
I think if you were quality status previously, you could automatically transfer over.
Only to foundation level, not
Right.
quality. That's it. That has to be done before the end of February.
So I'd like to propose that Leslie goes through this and monitors and advises the council as though we were doing it, and then we can take a call in 2016. Have I got a second for that? Are you happy with that, President?
Mm-hmm. I mean, maybe the external audit will come back and we haven't got any bad marks against us, but I know that's now being completed, but I haven't received the documentation back now.
Do we need to
Okay.
vote on that then or not?
Pardon?
Do we need to vote on that or not?
Right.
Proposed?
Those in favour? Unanimous. Number 18, mission statement, Councillor Ward.
Yeah, so the last meeting I shared the reasons behind the mission statement I pulled together from the strategy document. There were a number of comments, particularly around the quality status aspiration, which is built into the strategy. And I invited comments back ahead of this meeting as to whether people felt there was anything else that needed to be amended or adjusted. I've not received anything substantial. So the question really is what do people want to do? And I would propose that we adopt the document, clearly, but I don't know whether there's any other comments or suggestions from people. Just a few tweaks that we will need to make following those comments on the quality status, change the terminology, say that I would suggest that we still say we aspire to the award standard. Not necessarily put the time frame on it, I did put XX years, but we can take that out as well. So I don't know.
So there's been feedback. Has anyone got anything else to add before we take a vote on this?
I think it's well said, isn't it?
So Councillor Ward's made a proposal that we adopt it. Is there a seconder for that? Councillor Stanbury. Those in favour? Unanimous. Thank you.
So would you tweak it and,
Yeah, I'll make those.
because that was one of the things that is the mission statement is in the quality status.
Yeah, so I'll make those minor changes and send them through to send them around to everybody to give them all the thing.
Okay. Number 19, community events, Councillor Saal.
I'd like to form, if the council isn't in agreement, not a events committee or working party, but a community events group forwarded by the council. I see this as contacting all the local organisations and school and churches, etc., and the residents, and pull together a events group, a community events group, to organise things through the year, including what is at the moment called the Fun Day. There's a lot of things people say they would like. The old-fashioned horticulture show later on in the year with flower ranging competition, photography, etc., like we used to have. But I would like it to be run by the council, but the group is the residents doing it as well. Regarding budget on this sort of thing, we've got, in the next few years, we've got the Queen's Jubilee, 65 years. We've got her 90th birthday. And within the next 10 years, 12 years, we've got a coronation. Now, we have, and we've got no budget, no money being put aside each year to cover events like that. It's always just been, I think it's 1,500, is it, Leslie?
Yes.
1,500 as a budget for events in the village. You know, and speaking to residents at the Fun Day, a lot of them said they don't care if it puts their rates up a fraction. If they have, they don't. If there's things that bring the community together,